y'all doing? So tonight marks the grand finale of the TV hit running show Blackish. And it's been 8 years. Wow. And it seemed like it's been on longer than that. Blackish came out back when Instagram was first rolling. It's like a little bit after that. Snapchat. You start to think about all the things that have happened. TikTok was after Obama was still president, as he was in his last term before Trump took over. You think about all these things, and without the laugh track, it was like the updated, I would say, updated, modernized version of Cosby Show in a way, because they were professional black family with structure, but modernization, but with a twist though. Jennifer Lewis, who played Anthony Anderson's mother, and Lawrence Fishburne, they were funny, and the kids they grew up, they all came along. Trace Ellis Ross, Anthony Anderson, great chemistry, and Dean Cole did a good job. The token brothers at that business, that's a trip. There's a lot of subplots, a lot of dialogue, history lessons, a lot of knowledge being dropped. It was a good show. Good show. Um, it probably outran its course. Probably went on 2, 3 years too long in some instances, and I think that eventually shows like that do get whitewashed. I heard there were some creative differences, and you know how it is. If a black show is successful on these networks, especially it's got humor or something, they tend to get a little bit whitewashed. You know what happened with the Jeffersons, but I think Blackish will be. It has its place. It has its place. I mean, if you ask me hypothetically, I said for its time it was cool. It represents. It represents, It belongs in the same conversations, I think, with the Good Times, with the Jeffersons, um, with Cosby Show, with the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It belongs in that black pantheon of family oriented shows that has its place. It's one of them shows. Uh, Julia too. Let me give Diane Carroll, rest in peace, her do with her show. When you see black based families, shows that um, Sanford Son too, because it has that father son element. Fishburne and Anthony Anderson, when they had their little tay, it's kind of, there's a little bit of that Sanford Son element there. So there's some throwback in a subtle and not so subtle. Um, and if you want to even throw what's happening, I use those shows because uh, black family based children, and they had storylines, and you had to think and everything with that. So all those shows, it belongs in that same, and it is the end of an era. It is the end of an era. On this particular show, there was a times when it was going up against Empire. So and Empire had its place, but I think Blackish was a was a pretty happening show. You know, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a good show. It'd be interesting if they made a movie of it. Now they even had the offspring of grownish and mixish and all this other ish, and that is a successful formula. So, you know, um, bottom line is if you want a successful show, you got to have charisma, you got to have the right balance, and you got to have the right parts and places. And they did good. Jennifer Lewis was a trip though. Was the grandmama? She still got it. She bad to the bone. Trace Ellis Ross, bad. Much respect. Larry Fishburne and Anthony Anderson did good with the show. So Blackish definitely left a mark. But anyway, give me your thoughts and takes. Where's Blackish rank for you all time? Did you get into it? Would you like, didn't like? How'd you think about it? And the kids and the whole nine. So give me your thoughts and comments. I welcome thoughts and comments. And please hit like, subscribe. And I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind cold. Watch out for another. And it's always sad to see a black show go off the air, especially when it had a good run like this show did. And so it's going to definitely be remembered. I'm out.